Grandmasters. Welcome back, everyone, to Hearthstone Grandmasters. Hope you enjoyed that treat of a series. We have 2 more left for today, as we will get ready for our next match, which is Firebat versus PapaJason. Firebat currently the division leader. PapaJason pushing the bottom half, but he still has a pretty decent opportunity to climb up in the standings. Remember, it's week 6. It's not determined just yet. Next week, though, a week from today, essentially, we're going to start to see the winding down of things. And, of course, the inevitable tiebreaker of who is going to be up versus down. We have no priests featured in this head-to-head, sadly.
Sadly, he says.
Oh, yeah. But if you thought that we were done unpackaging the gifts of Yogg-Saron, you are sadly mistaken, as Firebat has also brought Highlander Mage alongside Soleil. Yes, alongside Soleil and Language Hack. So, by all means, Christmas has come early, TJ.
Yeah, a lot of Highlander decks in this series as well, with both players playing Highlander Hunter and Firebat having the Mage, PapaJason Highlander Rogue. So a lot of Zephyrs to be played, and potentially Dragon Queen Alexstrasza's. But Demon Hunter is the third deck for both players. And this would be a good one. Honestly, if I had to, pick, let's say, one player from each division that's been playing the best, and, this sounds kind of, obvious because of their records, but I think Firebat and Bloodyface have been 2 players that have just been playing lights out Hearthstone since the round robin phase began. I give an honorable mention there to Gallon, because he is also quite up there. So those are the top 3 players right now, I think, as far as just the level, the quality of Hearthstone they've been playing over the past 3 weeks. And we'll see if that continues today as Firebat looks to solidify his first place seed, and PapaJason trying to dig himself out of the hole that he's built and climb further away from last place in Division B, which is where those automatic relegation slots reside. We start things off with a good old Demon Hunter mirror match.
Yep.
Should be nice.
It is gonna be a fast one. I think no matter how these players mulligan shape up, one player will be kind of ahead on the board. Looking at the differences in the deck list, though, you can already see one of them coming into play here. Firebat decided to tech in Guardian Aug Merchant over the Crimson Citadel Runner, while PapaJason chooses a more traditional approach by playing Sightless Watcher. Firebat also has completely omitted the Vulpera Scoundrel, which seems to be penetrating most deck lists. And decided just to make his deck list leaner. Leaner, quicker, faster. A little bit more aggressive, if anything. I would just probably say that Firebat is just borderline on the aggro Demon Hunter here.
Yeah, it's a much faster list, and, he doesn't necessarily care about theoretical value from Vulpera Scoundrel. That card has not impressed me that much over testing and even watching it through matches today. Obviously, Demon Hunters have some really powerful spells. They also have some pretty weak ones that especially don't fit in the mirror matchup a lot and are quite slow. But we'll see. We'll see. I like PapaJason's opening hand. He kept the Twin Slice and Beaming Psychic in the mulligan. Some of the best cards, just having 1-drop plus Twin Slice with anything is great. And he's got followed with Umberwing.
I grow impatient.
Yeah, I would say that the Demon Hunter... part of the reason why I like the other deck lists for Demon Hunter is because at any point of the game, if they're able to stabilize, they just start to pour on the damage. That was really awkwardly worded. Let me rephrase this. If you're going to play an aggressive game plan with the Demon Hunter in the mirror, you better make sure you stick the board. You come for the king, you best not miss. And if Firebat is not able to establish a board, which looks like he is not, he is going to be really far behind, and then hoping that PapaJason has no development. But that's kind of what we've seen Demon Hunter do a lot. Demon Hunter just kind of like removes, stalls, and then the moment they stick a minion on the board, they're like pushing 17 damage.
Yeah, no. It snowballs.
Yeah. So that's the only issue that I take, is that if Firebat can't get this aggressive start rolling, which he hasn't so far, all he does is kind of like slowly pick at the life total for PapaJason. He's going to get really far behind soon.
Yep. And Dan, I think I have to be the one to address the elephant in the room, but if you take a look at Firebat's webcam, he just has a really cool shirt.
Totally.
And I feel like that's just something I need to point out.
Yeah, it's a nice shirt.
Yeah. Nice on brand there as well. Just cool all around. Sorry to derail the conversation, but
yes,
just felt like it needed to be said.
Yeah, and it's clear that Firebat doesn't really mind too much the appearance of being messy, as you can tell with whatever's happening in the background of the room.
Yeah.
Did he have a pillow fight right before he started playing Grandmasters?
It could be a green feathered boa as well over there. I don't know.
Or he's going to later host a masquerade party, and nobody's invited.
and I can't quite put my finger on it, but I think he also got a haircut.
Yeah, his hair's definitely shorter than I remember.
Yeah, it's definitely shorter than last week.
Yeah. Yeah, there's many sides of Firebat.
Demons.
We just gotta really get to know him to be able to see it all.
Yep, that's right. Well,
PapaJason plays a Volpera Scoundrel, finds an opportunity to curve out with Command the Illidari or Skull of Gul'dan. I think Blur would be... I think Blur would be a little bit wasteful.
It's interesting, though, because if he had Warglaives of Azeroth in hand, he might even consider it.
Yeah, but not here.
But not here. Skull of Gul'dan is a choice, but it's awkward because he's putting it in the far right side of his hand, and he's got very expensive cards in the far left. There's a likelihood that this skull is stranded for a while.
Right. Meanwhile, Firebat has his own Warglaives. Yeah, I don't know if that Skull of Gul'dan ends up being a good thing here for PapaJason. It's like we said, it might stall out for a while.
Yeah. I may have honestly gone with Mystery Choice and tried to pick up like an I-Beam or a Twin Slice or something.
What's wrong with Command the Illidari, though? Like, seriously, people just like aren't picking it, and it's like, I guess, altruist?
Dan, I don't know. I'm a culprit of that too. I automatically devalue that card.
What's wrong with it? It's a 5/5 rusher for 5, but you get to pick apart how you want to attack with it.
Oh, I think I've just been trained by streamers and the Hearthstone Elite to hate that card. I think I'm brainwashed, Dan.
Yeah.
Maybe it is good.
I don't know. I'm just a little bit perplexed. Or if I were to use my toilet paper word of the day, I'm nonplussed. Is it worth trading into one of these little wasp things? I don't know. It feels like pushing 6 to the face might matter, given that you have a 6/6 on board, but Firebat's clearly trying to count the break points of damage.
Yeah, like if PapaJason has his own Glavebound Adept, it would force 6 damage to be taken by PapaJason in order to make sure that it cleanly clears the Glavebound Adept. So in his mind, he's trading that 3 damage for potentially 6 damage.
Yes, that's true. Glavebound Adept would be more problematic to clear with the other Glavebound Adept.
Ugh. This is a problem with the skull.
I grow impatient.
Yeah, I mean, PapaJason has
I am complete.
what feels like very close to. Oh.
Uh.
Oh. 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 Oh, TJ.
See.
Oh, wow.
Is that damage supposed to go upstairs?
I don't know. That's the hard thing is Firebat drew more damage, so making me be very results oriented and thinking that trading might have been correct, but that's 11 damage over 2 turns, and your opponent's at 15, and you have 2 more for the weapon swing. So all you needed was 2 more damage,
Yeah.
and yeah, I guess like PapaJason would be at 10 health right now. Then this Volpero Scoundrel could pick up 2 more points of damage, like anything. Chaos Strike,
Twin Slice.
Twin Slice. Is it just that? Wow.
I guess so.
Wow. And you know what it is, actually? PapaJason's motivated because he has Skull Gul'dan.
Yeah.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Command Story. Yeah, I don't think it's actually that good in this. Soul Cleave is interesting.
Yeah, hear me out here.
Okay.
What about Mystery Choice?
It could be
I
anything.
grow
It could even
impatient.
be Command the Eladari.
Oh, then I like it less.
I
Soul Cleave does make no sense.
Ooh, none of these are particularly very good options. Although, if you're talking about...
Well, Battle Mage lets him... It's the only card he can play next turn with the skull.
Yeah, so the one thing that I don't like about it is that PapaJason might not have a target for Ivy. I guess no, he picked the Blazing Battle Mage, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I thought he picked the other Ivy.
No, I'm pretty sure he picked Blazing Battle Mage.
Yeah, yeah. I think maybe I saw a quick flicker of a hover or whatnot, but well, right now he needs to find a way to stabilize in his health. He has no targets for IB more so Cleave unless it's his own units. Oh my, that's one way to add pressure. Whoo!
That's some heat.
Firebat needs pretty much his own skull here, but yeah.
Metamorphosis would also work. He would just Metamorphosis the Gravevine out of this turn, hit base.
Right. Okay. That helps. That lets him, so he can hero power and kill off the Battle Fiend. He doesn't want that to actually grow in power. And freeze the Gravebound Adept and push 4. The I-Beam in PapaJason's hand, though, is pretty sick.
So is the Soul Cleave.
Soul
There's
Cleave
so much
can
health.
target. Yeah, it can actually target just one minion.
Yeah.
But if Firebat ends up playing the Umbra Wayne, the Soul Cleave ends up becoming even sicker.
Yeah.
I grow impatient.
Is it cold in the shadows?
Time grows short.
PapaJason ain't even sweating right now.
Yep. Everything looks pretty good, to be honest.
High Beam, Soul Cleave, Warglaves. Hit him.
Yeah, so I think at this point, Firebat is going to require a pretty narrow set of draws to bail him out here. Looks like it is just Skull of Gul'dan into anything. And Kane isn't it, so that's going to be lethal for PapaJason guaranteed. PapaJason takes game 1 in the Demon Hunter Mirror. And, you know, kind of like what we're talking about, that aggressive game plan, Firebat just kind of fizzled. And all PapaJason needed to do was just take a little bit extra time and be a little bit slower. And these kinds of mirrors are always on a knife's edge.
Yeah.
And kind of vary from class to class. So in the past, you know, the more aggressive version of Hunter, because of the way their hero power lends it, would end up having an edge over those that were just a little bit slower, because the one that was in it, the faster one, gets on the board a little quicker and hero power pushes the damage. But if you played, say, Warrior, the deck that was slightly slower was often the one in advantage because it had the ability to respond and gain a little bit of armor and have like the final threat. I wonder what that dynamic is like with Demon Hunter Mirror. Is it just the one that's a little bit faster that's able to get onto the board and stick? Or is it the one that has just a little bit more reactive cards to be able to go for those tempo swings and decisively like push for the win later on?
It honestly feels like one of those matchups where it just depends. Having a more consistent early game means you're more likely to get ahead, and if you're more likely to get ahead, I think I would tend to favor that deck more than one that's a little slower and more value oriented, because you're just so much better in a race scenario. It feels, but you are more susceptible to running out of steam, and that's what happened there with Firebat. Just ran out of stuff to do and damage to deal, and that's what ended up being his downfall. So I can see it going both ways for that matchup, but I don't think we've seen a significant enough sample size to make a judgment. I know that there's a lot of players who do play Demon Hunter a lot on ladder, and so they play a ton of mirrors. And most of like the super high level players tended to favor the faster version, more consistent onto the board version. But in this type of environment, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, well, I mean, we will end up seeing what happens again for 2. Rogue makes another appearance today, and previously when we saw Rogue, it just kind of struggled to close the game versus Druid. It's going to happen this game as Firebat once more will be looking to be aggressive with that Demon Hunter. And, you know, you got to respect that. You know, Firebat is willing to deviate from the norm. I appreciate that a lot. And I mean, I look very fondly upon Firebat. He's a co-host of a podcast that I run, and I think that he has great ideas about the game. But if his Demon Hunter isn't able to win the board against the Rogue, he might continue to suffer the same fate, because PapaJason has the Highlander variant.
Oof.
Oh, he drew his Zephyrus. Oh, jeez.
And he's got himself a curve. PapaJason probably feeling good right now. He's got options.
Yeah, and I think that this is a really important decision to make with Raise Galakron versus just Dagger, or even just Zephyrus. Oh, wow! You gotta be kidding me.
That's the good stuff.
Super
right
good.
there.
Firebat does have his Umbra Wing and the Twin Slice, though. I think that's important. Just kind of shut down your opponent's plays. He has Altruist in hand, which makes me feel like there's potential greed options. He could just play Umbra Wing and pass, for example. Then next turn, Hero Power and just eliminate it naturally. Eliminate the Pharaoh Cat. Rogue tends to be a little bit slow on the gun, with Highlander Rogue variants especially.
They also have more just like raw power cards, like Zephyrus.
What does Zephyrus offer in this situation? Offers you what, like a Flame Imp, so that way you can get a 1-drop, get out onto the board.
Would it offer you the pirate, the Destroy Weapon pirate?
Oh yeah,
Nope.
possibly. Oh, Mortal Coil, Voidwalker. Undergale feels like such a low impact card here.
They all feel relatively low impact to be.
Yeah,
to be
you
honest.
know, I understand that he was thinking about shadow stepping his Zephyrus. But really, this ended up not panning out, and I think like PapaJason's hesitation. Oh, whoa! Wow, he wants to go for another Zephyrus, and he's given Water Elemental as a choice, which is totally cool against Demon Hunter.
Should have picked Townmaster if his Ferrocat survived. His Ferrocat? Wait, what? Okay.
Yeah, that was unusual.
It is a beast, that's why. It's like, oh, you have a beast on board? You're going into 4 mana next turn? Here's a Houndmaster.
Yeah, that was unusual. PapaJason's showing a lot of respect, but I think it's because he has Faceless Corruptor and he really wants to get ahead on board. Like really wants to get ahead on board. That being said, that play looked like it's either genius or it's pretty sketch, and I can't tell which one it is.
Yeah, that's a quite the liberal use of Zephyrus, I would say.
Yeah. Now Firebat can actually clear the entire board with the Warglaves.
Be frozen going into next turn.
Yes, but he shuts off everything from Faceless Corruptor, which I think is the highest priority here.
What about if you do something crazy, Dan? Oh, never mind.
Okay.
No.
What is
I forget I
go
said.
on?
I was gonna say
Go
Kane.
on.
I was gonna say Kane and just ship face.
Should have stopped. Actually, hold on.
Because so PapaJason wants to freeze face to shut off Orclays of Azzinoth,
And
but he also has
has
to deal with the
Outros.
board.
Yeah. Well,
And then he
Faceless
holds on to
Corruptor's
Coin
so
and Twin
good.
Slice for Altruist. But that means like next turn he has to play Warglaves, and he knows that he's likely to get frozen if he does that. I don't know, Dan. Firebat's he's bouncing over the cane.
I will still find you.
Aww.
I don't know. I think this play feels pretty weak. Faceless Corruptor to me.
Ooh, missed 1 damage. He's almost certainly playing Warglaves of Azzinoth next turn, so we'll see if that missed 1 damage will come back to bite him.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to matter, considering that PapaJason, through use of his Zephyrs very aggressively, has kind of taken all initiative and followed the curve. Pretty unusual game here as a result. So, Firebat was holding on to the Warglades because he wants to go for that swing, but like, I guess he has the Warglades Twin Slice here.
Oh.
There's another Twin Slice. Wow. Okay. Well, that's just great. This is a board clear, and he gets to develop a 4/4. And Rogue can't really answer it. Warglaves plus Twin Slice still looks good to me, though.
Yeah.
You do the same thing, and then you still get like Oucher's power turn next turn.
You could even like Warglaves Coin. The Twin Slice is better with Altruist than Coin.
Right.
So I think Warglaves plus Coin. The only problem is like Coin could unlock another. All right, forget what I said. He's don't do any
Look
of
at
it.
PapaJason. He's furling his brow. He doesn't understand what just happened. He's like, wait, what?
Oh, and he understands. Everybody understands what this play means from Demon Hunter.
Wow, Firebat with a very greedy line, and he's going to be rewarded handsomely. What? Now Satyr Overseer. It's So you twin slice, twin slice coin. And you can play the Satyr Overseer. And then attack twice. I don't know if you actually want to attack twice, though.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Because you have a clear without attacking twice. It's just, do you want the extra 2/2 at the expense of one of your weapon charges? And 2 health.
Well, you get to... That extra 2 damage does have a chance to hit.
Time grows short.
Well, no, like extra... You take extra 2 damage that you didn't have to take.
Okay.
Or does he want even more by attacking twice?
Right. Attacking twice seems a little bit too liberal to use here. Firebat with an incredibly swingy turn deals over half of PapaJason's life, presenting a 2-turn lethal.
And now...
Now I wish you had Zephyrus.
Oh, what card is he even hoping for? Seal Fate?
Okay. That helps.
A Rusty
But I mean, he only can
Raider.
kill one thing.
Yeah, but it's still in the way. It's a taunt.
What a day!
He gets to kill Altruist.
Yep.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
I got you, friend.
I think PapaJason is gonna survive now.
So he needed Siamat or Rusty Raider.
Yeah, those were the only 2 cards, it looks like.
Well, he
But-
could have picked up like Seal Fate, Vendetta, or like Backstab. He could have found a way to kill Ultras, but finding a way to kill Ultras while also blocking damage. Because now Kronk comes down.
You are too late.
Yep.
His return is nigh.
In the shadows.
Oh, still some outs for Firebat. He's got Metamorphosis. Skull of Gul'dan could also help him set up a 2-turn. PapaJason doesn't have a 2-turn lethal of his own. Got 10 damage represented. Could find it. Battlefield, not it.
Wow. I mean, Firebat's deck just, like, he's not drawing his Skull of Gul'dan. He's, like, all in. He's just short a pretty good amount of damage.
Yeah.
And this seems to be pretty consistent with the past couple games so far, just that he seems to be off by, like, 7 to 10 damage somewhere.
Yeah.
Skull of Gul'dan might be able to do something kind of miraculous here. Have to be kind of amazing, though.
How about an I-Beam? Will you settle for an I-Beam?
Nope, that's not gonna do it. PapaJason up 2-0, Firebat. Demon Hunter struggling. And maybe it's like the small things, right? Maybe it's like not having things like Sightless Watcher and not having that Crimson Soldier Runner instead. He's like playing the Guardian Aug Merchant. Although, to be fair, Firebat does have some other things like his Spectral Sight in the deck, so he could have easily hit that.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a pretty interesting couple of lines taken on both sides. Like Firebat going for the Altruist tempo swing, but that wasn't enough. It wasn't anywhere near enough. PapaJason with his aggressive use of Zephyrus, which ended up paying off. And I was like saying, it either looks genius or it kind of looks like, huh? Why would he do that?
Yeah, it was interesting. Not a normal
No.
like Rogue versus Demon Hunter game.
I argue if both players, like, so it's one of those things where, like, if Firebat played more standard, maybe he would have been able to somehow find a way to squeeze out more damage efficiently or get more value out of his cards, and then be able to push more damage as a result. But then, like, if PapaJason had played more normally, he would have been able to answer that standard line of play too. So it's kind of like one of those things where, to me, at the surface level, it feels like both players played a little unconventionally, or pretty unconventionally, and then PapaJason got the win. But if had both players played standard, it felt like PapaJason would have also been favored from that spot. So poor Firebat feels like, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to match weird with weird.
Right.
To get the right result.
It was pretty interesting.
But PapaJason only has Highlander Hunter remaining, which honestly looked pretty weak for PapaJason last week, but it was a different metagame, completely different metagame. Highlander Hunter seems like it's performing quite well this week. It did get hit by some changes of Scavenger's Ingenuity, but as we talked about earlier on in the broadcast today, card still functions incredibly in the deck. And that's not where most of the power level lied. And, some of Highlander Hunter's weakest matchups got hit. So, with like Priest being relatively popular in the metagame and Mage kind of increasing in popularity and some of the fast decks slowing down, no surprise to see Highlander Hunter be a little bit better of a choice. But taking a look at the standings, just to give you guys an idea of what these players are battling for here. Firebat looking to solidify first place, whereas PapaJason just trying to, scrape by with every win he can get.
That's right. So Firebat, he takes this win, will improve to 4-1, and I believe guarantee himself avoiding relegation. I still think it's kind of likely he isn't. Just being a 3-1 makes it unlikely that you are, but I think nothing is guaranteed based off how things pan out.
Yeah.
But that's what the goal is, and Firebat still has that competitive fire. Maybe he's not grinding nearly as much as he did when he was 18 and became the world champion. I would also argue that most people shouldn't grind that hard because Firebat pushed his health to the limit practicing nonstop for the 2014 world championship. But he definitely paid his dues, and perhaps the new challenger to the throne, PapaJason, who one day dreams of being a global champion, can threaten that. This is a matchup of possibly the oldest member of competitive Hearthstone that we have here versus the newest, but PapaJason's looking good, up 2-0 right now.
Yeah, we'll see if he can find a win with this Highlander Hunter. Firebat not going to change anything. Demon Hunter again. See if he can get the win through this time. And this one's a little bit better of a matchup, but another Zephyrus deck. See what PapaJason's got planned for us in this matchup with Zephyrus.
Yeah, Highlander decks seem particularly reliable right now just because the disadvantage of Highlander decks is draw consistency, and there's been a lot more tutor effect cards introduced into Hearthstone. The second thing is that the metagame has slowed down just a little. With each patch, it's slowed down just a little bit more. So here we go, game number 3. Firebat could be the second player that gets swept today, but not if his Demon Hunter has something to say about it. And this would also be another surprising result. Demon Hunter once in a while looks pretty unstoppable, and then sometimes looks like it just can't get a win ever.
Yeah.
And it could be just...
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that it could be just the fact that Demon Hunter is still good, it's just that there's a higher risk of fizzling out now every single time. Higher built-in failure rates because there's not as much guaranteed card draw, guaranteed damage. With each passing patch, things got a little bit more expensive, a little bit weaker. And eventually there's just that tipping point. When I say that, Demon Hunter might be balanced, TJ.
Oh.
I know. I'm going to be flamed nonstop for that comment. But, I knew the risks going in. And so did Firebat with his deck list here. I actually don't hate his deck list at all. I just think that, one, his panouts have not been great. When he all-ins, his top decks have been awful. And this is the first time he's drawn Skull of Gul'dan, which seems to be a key component of his strategy because it is his main reload if things don't work out the first time.
Yeah. And he floor kept this game. Kept all his cards. If he's not going to win on a 4-keep, ooh. In a decent matchup on paper, you 4-keep and your opponent, I think, threw everything away, or threw at least 2 things away. Gonna rethink the matchup spread a little bit.
Demons.
So going face here does get punished by Unleash the Hounds. But I don't think Firebat's even like really that upset if he sees Unleash the Hounds here. Because that's a full turnover from PapaJason. He gets to develop Satyr Overseer, kill the Ooze next turn. Still reasonable. So might as well ship the 2 while you can.
Nothing but a bunch of big bears!
Playing for board.
Yeah, this is the best that he can do, and I think that's something that Firebat is very much looking forward to. Wow, how important is that Glaive-bound depth pickup here? That's huge, because Firebat can set up a 50-50 for this Rottenness Drake, and that's only if PapaJason ends up having that.
Demons.
Ooh, Firebat can take it even slower.
All I see is weakness.
Interesting. So he's not afraid of the Satyr Overseer, just kind of getting traded onto the board. Also, if Rottenness Drake came out, Firebat would be behind.
Well, Firebat saw Corrosive Breath on 2 that didn't hit his face.
Ah, okay, you're right.
So he knows that if PapaJason had Rottenness Drake, he would have to have drawn Rottenness Drake and another dragon.
Right, that's true.
It would have to have been the exact 2 cards, since he knows that Down Tamer Brand was in the hand when the Corrosive Breath came out. So,
Okay.
Pretty unlikely for
Sure.
that to happen.
Yeah, I can buy it. Firebat has the option of freezing or playing the Glaive-bound Adepts and getting a really nice trade. The advantage of playing the left side of his hand is that he gets closer to playing Skull of Gul'dan. So he could, for example, play Kane Sun Fury and I-Beam and just trade 2-2. Whoa, he's going to accept the damage. I like it.
Job's done.
Yeah.
I love how aggressive Firebat fights for board. It's very refreshing because it kind of but at the same time he also like goes for these big tempo swings. It makes for a very exciting gameplay. It's kind of refreshing because like sometimes it feels like players just kind of stick to the traditional value or lines of play, and he just really likes to look at different ways to approach it.
Whew.
Yeah, the only downside is his curve looks a little awkward this turn.
Yeah. And
Also,
PapaJason's got Dino Tamer Brand.
yeah, this Dino Tamer Brand is going to escalate things really quickly.
Hey, I got you, friend.
Also, because of that threat of Dino Tamer Brand, I actually wonder if Kane Sun Fury was better this turn.
What, just to get in the damage and then freeze afterwards?
Right, because if your opponent does play Dino Tamer Brand, yeah, you protect your 2-2, but you still have a Dino Tamer Brand to kill. I guess he does have the I-Beam here. The I-Beam makes it so that he can, like, kind of guarantee the trade into Dino Tamer Brand. Or the King Crush, rather. So this does allow him. It does give Firebat options. And he has the most important card, which is Skull of Gul'dan, to react to whatever his opponent's done.
Biggest question here for PapaJason. Do you trade? Ugh.
You'll find me wherever the action is.
I hate it.
Wow. That's a lot of respect for a 3-drop.
Firebat would have had to respect the King Crush.
Right.
You would put him at 13 with 13 damage showing on board.
Right, and Firebat would end up trading.
He would end up trading anyway, most likely, unless he had exactly another Frozen Shadow Weaver.
Demons. Demons.
Not sold.
Hide behind your giant true. I will still find
There we go.
Yeah, I like it. Firebat kind of recognizes that PapaJason doing that has kind of played very conservatively, so the last card in his hand couldn't have been something super impactful. Although, that Dragon Queen Alexstrasza does look like it could be PapaJason's ticket to potentially getting out of the series.
But his turn this turn would be nothing, except for an Imprisoned Felmaw, which has no impact for 2 turns.
The alternative is Primordial Explorer, which
Also is kind of
also,
nothing.
yeah, it doesn't really do a lot.
He's really hoping that this Dragon Queen Alexstrasza is going to bail him out. He's going to need a lot. Because he's going down to 9, it's very likely that Firebat's going to set up a 2-turn lethal.
Right. Skull of Gul'dan gives him 3 card draw so that he can potentially swing with the Altruist and maybe even just find lethal. There's no downside to setting up the Warglaives here, right? You get to kill and you get to push damage.
Yeah. It would be 1 damage extra if you play it with Altruist. It's 3 damage extra if you play it this turn. And you have 2 more mana next turn to couple with Altruist. Alright. Nazari.
I mean, yeah, PapaJason kind of looking up. When you play Highlander decks, this is kind of what you're relegated to.
Ooh.
No. That's death. Alright, well, he tried. And a lot of questions of what ifs, you know. What if PapaJason instead pushed damage with the King Crush? Would that have changed anything? Probably not. But there's a lot of questions. Makes me wonder.
Firebat would have had 8 less health at the end of this game.
Right.
And almost exactly the same things would have happened outside of that. But you're right, probably not enough. And Firebat finally gets on the board. Big win. PapaJason's Highlander Hunter continues the trend from last week of struggling, even though it should be better positioned. But Firebat still has Highlander Mage left in his deck, which is a matchup that the Hunter can definitely capitalize on. The other matchup is actually a mirror. So that one's also, that's kind of a toss-up. And their decks are card for card the same. Yep.
It looks
exactly
like
the
it
same.
looks the
30
same.
for 30.
So the Mage is the hard part for Firebat. Highlander Mage does tend to struggle against any kind of Hunter because the Hunter puts out consistent damage, and Mage tends to freeze the board state. TJ, you look like you really want to say something?
Firebat has a draw Poacher
Oh, that's fun.
in his Highlander Mage deck.
So if your opponent controls a dragon, gain +4/+4 in Rush. But he's not going to play that just yet. He's going to play his Highlander Hunter first. Has to win the mirror.
Okay.
Has to win the straight up mirror. No actual tech cards to help.
Nope. Card for card the same. Everything in this deck is everything in PapaJason's deck. You don't even need to look at both.
Bring it on.
PapaJason on the play has a 1-drop. Firebat on coin, but also has a 1-drop. Ooh. 1-drop into Imprisoned Felmaw. The dream.
Yeah. Well, PapaJason still has that curve and Firebat. What would you do if you're going second? You're on the. I'd argue that this is maybe a moment to think about whether or not you wanted to go first as the hunter, or wanted to go you wanted to go second as the hunter, or second as the mage. Going first in this mirror seems really important.
Yeah.
But perhaps that's not the case, because if Firebat curves out... Wow, did he 4-keep? 4-kept.
Wow.
Well, for one thing, this Dwarven Sharpshooter is nutty. How do you stop that? Your PapaJason, you don't.
And Corrosive Breath, also very good.
Right.
And Firebat, based on the other cards that he's keeping, his game plan is to control the state of the game and not necessarily try and pull ahead. And then Dragon Queen Alexstrasza makes sense because, one, it guarantees Corrosive Breath activation, and then two, it guarantees that if he's able to control the state of the game, that he has a big threat to be able to play. To maybe pull him ahead. It's interesting. That's 2 games in a row that Firebat's 4-kept.
Yeah, so Firebat just kind of accepts that this Felmaw will most likely be able to answer. Although he actually, if PapaJason plays a minion, Diving Griffin will answer it. And then
could answer both.
Right, the Felmaw might be able to kill the Diving Griffin instead of hit face. And that's a win-win for Firebat. So now the moment of truth. Oof.
Oh, 2-for-1 and drew a card.
That's huge for Firebat. And now he can go for the Rotnest Drake. Although if the opponent has a Rotnest Drake, he might be in trouble.
Yeah, but he still has an answer if his opponent has Rotnest Drake, right? He can Stormhammer Corrosive Breath.
Right, that's true.
So it won't stick.
Okay, and then the upside is really high, which is he gets ahead on the board now.
Yeah. Yeah, the potential upside of that is massive.
Job's done.
All right, well, I mean, PapaJason can answer this to the Zephyrus, but is that what you really want to be doing with your mana? Freezing Trap? That's an alternative. Although Freezing Trap on this Rotnest Drake isn't exactly the ideal target, because that's still a powerful effect.
Yeah. Scavenger's Ingenuity probably the best, because it gives him a chance to pick up the buffed Zixer Prime since it's been shuffled into his deck already. I feel like I want to set up Desert Spear here to make sure that Faceless Corruptor has something to be activated on. Desert Spear Corrosive Breath. And then hit Because Faceless Corruptor's very tough card to use when you're fighting for board toe-to-toe like this outside of Desert Spirit, because you really don't have any like small minion generation to couple with it.
Yeah, I can see that. Only problem is that your remaining 2 mana is really poor.
That's also true.
So I actually, yeah, I think that maybe the Primordial Explorer is worth thinking about. I mean, Firebat did hover over it as if you wanted to play. But I like what you're saying. Set up the Faceless Corruptor, set up for maximum tempo. PapaJason also kind of showed that he had a very weird hand. He basically went full throttle and then just like didn't play anything the previous turn. And that Diving Griffin, I guess, helps.
Yeah. Put at least stick something on the board and
Right.
50-50 to pull Faceless or the Zixer Prime. But at the same time, if you do it now, like let's assume he gets Zixer Prime, it'd be better to like Fairy Dragon now, Diving Griffin to answer next turn, and then roll that into Zixer Prime and then into Dragon Queen Alexstrasza.
Yeah, tracking here. So he sets up for a Siamat potentially on the following turn, which would be good.
Mm-hmm.
And then Faceless Corruptor this turn can help win him the board. So it looks like Firebat is going to be pretty far ahead here. And PapaJason just has to keep reacting.
Yeah, the big thing here for PapaJason, though, is that he will get to play the first Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. Which, if he's not too far behind on board, is a massive advantage.
How about a mirror? How about a mirror? I move quickly.
All right. It's the Zixor Prime.
Right? So that will help him with the board, but if Firebat anticipates that Siamat is still problematic. Oh boy. Well, I mean,
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
sure. And it just kind of sets into motion the fact that Firebat is the one taking the proactive stance. We talked about how going first matters, right? And it's for things like this. It's so that you can get ahead. Zixer Prime is just used reactively. And while, yes, he's ahead on board, Firebat has a couple of different ways you can go about this. For example, you could Siamat and just trade. You could play Stormhammer and Dragons. I think he wants to save the Zephrys, but so one thing that he can do also is potentially just go for just straight up damage to end the game, because he does have Zephrys and he has Stormhammer. That's, you know, Stormhammer is 6 damage.
Yeah,
I think I do want to play Stormhammer this turn. And if I'm Firebat, I'm actually thinking about going Beast with that damage. Wow, even more so now that you have Scale Rider.
yeah, it's just more power on board.
Yeah.
I move quickly.
You can get the Stormhammer train going anytime, but one thing that Firebat's also in his mind is thinking about what's the best Dragon Queen Alexstrasza setup. And if PapaJason all-ins with his Dragon Queen Alexstrasza, he plays all those dragons, Firebat has a reactive card to it as well. He's Seer Unleashed,
And
the
Scale Lord.
Lord.
I mean, I'll take it, right? Like,
Sure.
I honestly think Firebat's probably just in a race scenario here.
Wonder about that. I actually wonder if Firebat has an opportunity here to do something instead of actually clearing. Maybe he could just set up a race. Stormhammer plus the Dragon Whelp is 8 damage, and if he gets to hit that twice, he's in there.
Yeah. He's 1 damage off lethal with Wind Fury.
So if he swings with the Stormhammer, hero powers, puts him down to 6, and then he will have 2 mana remaining. Yeah, I can't get there. But what he could do is Freezing Trap.
Yeah. Because Zephyrus is gone from PapaJason.
Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting the Dragon Queen right back. Finds an Aeon Reaver. Are you kidding me?
That's sick.
Wow. And
Zephyrus is
PapaJason
gone.
Yeah,
from
does not have
PapaJason.
the easy answer. Oh, wow. He's just dead.
Yeah, no Dream Portals as well picked up from PapaJason. His ability to build a board is pretty limited, especially considering that he just can't even clear enough to live. Can pull... Actually, did he track over freezing? I can't remember.
I wonder.
None of those help.
I moves quickly. Winds of the south, come to my aid.
Yeah. Guess the double trait where he's dead on board.
Yep, so that's going to do it. Firebat ties up the series and going to send this to Game 5. This Highlander Hunter from PapaJason once more kind of being pretty hard stuck at getting through. And Firebat has yet his hardest challenge, though. Highlander Mage is very difficult, so he's going to try, but it's going to be difficult to get through. This is one of Mage's worst matchups.
Yeah, he does have some techs for the matchup with Dragon Mob Poacher and Boom Pistol Bully, which Boom Pistol Bully actually fantastic against. It's best against Rogue. I guess almost every single one of their minion/cards, even Galakron is a battle cry. But against Highlander Hunter, it's also great. Shuts off Zephyrus, it shuts off Rottnest Drake, shuts off Dino Tamer Brand, Dragon Queen Alexstrasza, Tiamat. Basically all of their power cards, it shuts off for almost a whole turn. So that can help him solidify board states or save him some life. And same with Dragon Ball Poacher. That can be a massive tempo swing. If, let's say, it just can trade over an Evasive Faywing on curve, or even a Rottnest Drake after he uses it for tempo. The best case is on 4, he doesn't have a play, so he Fairy Dragons and Hero Powers, and boom! You stick an 8/5 and kills Fairy Dragon. It's an ideal scenario, obviously, but still a tough matchup for Firebat. Those cards just help a tiny bit. They don't make a favor or anything.
They help just a little bit, but yeah, overall the macro game plan is still tough. He keeps the Dragon Caster because I think he understands that he needs to cheese a win here. Dragon Caster into some kind of spell to help swing the board is what's going to be important here, as there's opportunities to use Deep Freeze, Power of Creation, Puzzle Box of Yogg-Saron.
Yeah. All of those at once with Puzzle Box. There's the Dragon pickup. Dragon Caster's active on 6. Question is, how much damage does he take in the meantime? And if he can draw one of those impactful spells to be able to capitalize on it. Okay. That's a 2-mana play. He's got 2 mana available.
I think that's the only play. And anything that you can play and stick to the board is important. Firebat kind of taking some notes here.
Writing his thoughts in his diary, perhaps. Today I kept Dragoncaster in my mulligan, hoping desperately for my one true love, the puzzle box of Yogg-Saron.
Oh yeah, I mean he already has one of the harder parts, which is getting a dragon in hand.
I think getting the puzzle box in hand is harder.
Yeah, but it's the other half. You need to have it. I can't tell you how many times that like I was playing Highlander Mage and I like had Dragoncaster, but just and the right spell I wanted to play. But
Yeah.
no dragons.
You keep Escape Mana Saber, Dragoncaster, and puzzle box in your opening hand, and the whole game you're just waiting and getting. Oh!
There it is.
There it is.
There it is. So Firebat's going to take this series 3-2.
Got ourselves a Hearthstone game.
And so, what does PapaJason do to best prepare himself? I guess just have his removal options open. Like cards like Granus is important.
Yep. Use the coin.
Pretty clear.
Rottnest Drake not an option. So let's say PapaJason has like the worst turn 4 development plan ever. Do you still puzzle box? Like, let's say he just hits
Yeah.
face, hero powers, passes.
Yes, because you can play. There's a lot of proactive cards that just got introduced with spells for generating stuff. So as much as people want to say like, "Oh, Puzzle Box is too strong," I wish it could be. I'm not gonna argue one way or the other right here. My takeaway is that Puzzle Box is the strongest at its point right now. It's probably gonna get significantly weaker as we get more content.
Yeah.
And more cards in Standard. All right, let's do this.
All right, looking for Eye of the Storm,
Ready for a show?
Power of Creation,
Oh, here we go.
card draw.
Which one?
Nope,
Nope.
not good. Nope,
Not
not
what he
good.
wanted. Definitely not what he wanted.
All right, I'll take that. The Dew, nice.
Okay.
Freezing Trap, Baudisis. Nope. All right.
Okay, that. Oh, wow.
This is
Okay, well, cleared the board and played a quest and gained him a little bit of life.
and played a secret,
Played a secret.
a hunter
Was,
secret.
Pretty underwhelming box.
And now it's gone. There's no more box.
Jeez, good draw.
Wait.
Never
mind.
What's that?
Never mind. He didn't know if it was explosive, and he just went for it.
Well, Firebat's just kind of stuck, hoping that he doesn't die. Wow. I mean, yeah, he just keeps drawing answer for answer, and eventually he'll find a way to win, right? With Amazing Reno?
In theory, yes.
PapaJason just, his game plan is pretty straightforward. Just play stuff and keep threatening the mage. This looks like a CMOD opportunity to me.
What if he wants to attack with Stormhammer this turn?
I wonder.
It's got Desert Spear in hand. Also Varanus. Synergize pretty well with each other.
Come to my aid.
But he'd give up that consistent damage from the Stormhammer.
Ooh. PapaJason just got wrecked. Ooh.
Oh!
Is it time for our good buddy, Mr. Edwin Van Cleef, to make an appearance? Oh, he's going to go ahead and just play Zephyrs right now.
How about a Savannah
Harrison
Highman?
Jones. Oh, that's even better. You get to draw a card and take down one of his most important tools to add pressure. EJ.
Dan, if he
think it
wins,
might be
it
happening.
was all the puzzle box.
Well, Puzzle Box stopped his momentum,
It did.
and it gave him that. It gave him the tempo.
Yeah. Gave him that freezing trap. Freezing trap, low key, huge.
Low key huge. And I think PapaJason has to consider how he wants to set up defensively, because it doesn't look, based off the way this is set up, it doesn't look like PapaJason will get to get Dragon Queen Alexstrasza cleanly. So instead, he might have to spend his turn 9, say, playing Brandis instead. If he does, he might have to just play like Zixor and Bone Wraith, and then play Desert Spear Brandis next turn.
Yeah.
Because he has to respect what Firebat can do. And now Firebat can play Siamat, and he can actually clear the board and deal 9 damage and set up a 2-turn lethal.
Winds of the south, come to my aid.
This one really turned around.
I am floored of what I'm seeing right now. Even the most, what felt like neutral puzzle box of Yalixron has won enough tempo from Firebat to just put these Highlander Hunter on the back foot. And it makes sense too, because a simple card like Phasing Trap can make the curve for Highlander Hunter awful, because he spent an entire mana doing nothing. Or entire turn, rather. He spent 7 mana crystals doing nothing.
Someone's out on me.
Now he just pings.
Does he freeze?
I think the ping. Although, if his opponent did rip Zixors off the top, that would be silly.
Yeah. That was the only reasoning, because I don't see these Ray of Frost being used at all.
Oh, jeez.
And give him like a Zixor out or something. I don't know. Probably doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, because he gets to just drop a Calicos next turn if his board gets removed, and that's a 1 in 16 that he picks it up.
If PapaJason plays Desert Spear and Brandis, he's dead. He takes the 5, or he takes 4 or 5 damage, depending on what he wants to clear off. Then he's at 8/9 life, and then the Frostbolt adds an extra 4 to whatever survived. He needs to actually Siamat and Wind Fury trade. Alternatively,
Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. You just rip double Twin Tyrant. The first one hits Harrison Reno. The second one clears the board. Boom.
oh my goodness, it happened. Firebat is going to reverse sweep PapaJason's Highlander Hunter.
Wow.
And it's one of its worst matchups in the metagame. And Firebat improves to 4-1. PapaJason down to 1-3. This is why you don't give up. It's never over till it's over, even if it looks really bleak. Firebat wins his 4th series this season, and as guaranteed that he is avoiding relegation, is putting a very good case that he is not going to be put in the relegation bracket. I think one more win guarantees him out of that spot. But for now, he's still even likely to be favored to make playoffs here.
have all of Firebat's wins been reverse sweeps?
It could be. That's definitely a good question to ask Lorinda heading into it. We can definitely go ahead and verify that.
At least 3 of them have been. I'll check up on that, but that's it seems like he finds himself in that position week after week, where he just keeps queuing the same deck, and eventually it finds a win, and then he just wins the series from there.
Yep.
Happened with like the Zoo Warlock last week also, where he just kept queuing it. All right, got to win. Now I'm good. I can win this series now. Did it again this week.
That's right. And so that brings us to our final series of the day. I know a lot of you don't want this to ever end.